So Nvidia, man, blew past expectations with those earnings that were reported that last hour that came out just after the bell. $57 billion in revenue, $2 billion more than analysts predicted, up 62% year over year. The advanced chips that this company makes are powering much of the AI revolution. We know that. And also powering much of the growth we've seen on Wall Street. The numbers today may calm some of the fears about a bubble that have been out there lately. In fact, the Nvidia CEO earlier today, Jensen Huang, on stage with Elon Musk at that Saudi investment summit. And the two of them, they both predicted a bright future for AI as a technology. Here's part of that.
There is only basically one way to make everyone wealthy, and that is AI and robotics.
How the students learn will be different. How people do their work will be different, obviously, because a lot of the things that we do mundanely or arduously or very difficultly are going to be done very simply. And so we're going to be more productive from that sense.
Here now, Scott Martin, Scott Chief Investment Officer at Kingsview Wealth Management. Corey Johnson also joins us as well, the Chief Market Strategist at Epistrophe Capital Research. Scott, you want to take the Nvidia numbers first? I mean, I just think the broad story going in was like, oh man, what's Nvidia going to say, especially about the future? People are worried about that bubble that I mentioned. Now what?
They're not bubblicious, that's for sure, Connell. I think they stepped up and made light of this bubble talk, because you're talking about beats on the top and bottom line. You're talking about an outlook, Connell, that was suspect, let's say, by some of the haters out there, at least as the kids like to say they are. And the numbers look great on all fronts. And I think, you know, the way Jensen Huang does it is he does it in this ceremonious kind of superhero fashion. I don't mean what we saw with Elon Musk there, but even on the calls where he talks about a lot of the future for Nvidia and a lot of the demand that's out there. You mentioned the chips that are powering the data centers, the GPUs and so forth. And really the only issue, I think, stopping Nvidia is the fact that we have basically the problem of not enough data centers right now. So provided we get the data centers built and obviously fix some of the power issues and things like that are longer term, I think Nvidia's got a long way to go. And today is another example of how Nvidia is the leader of the pack, and it shows in the price after market.
Especially, yep, it's up if they do end up doing a lot of business in China, which that's been talked about. Corey, your thoughts on what we've seen tonight from Nvidia?
Well, these are some of the most incredible quarters any company has done in the history of mankind. I mean, yep. I've done the math. I've looked at the numbers over long periods of history. We've never seen anything like this. This company did $32 billion in profits in the last 13 weeks. And it's just incredible numbers. They paid $6 billion in taxes, or at least accrued for that amount in the last 13 weeks. What we see here is a real, you know, while many of us in the real world are just starting to figure out ways to use AI in our daily lives or use AI in our work, we can see that there was an enormous amount of money being dedicated, not just promised, but actually being spent, right? When we get earnings, it's the truth. It's what's actually happening. It's not predictions of orders. It's not potential spending over a long period of time. These are orders that already happened and money that was already delivered. We can see that the investment in AI is extraordinary, and it's like nothing we've ever seen in our lifetime.
So do you keep, Scott, making investments in not only just Nvidia, but companies that might benefit from an Nvidia doing what it's doing? So how do you look at it, or are you kind of pulling back a little bit now, like some people have been over the last few weeks?
I think the people that did that made a mistake. Now, granted, if you did that early on, maybe that was good because you avoided a couple weeks of pain and some histrionics out there that I don't think were warranted. But I think today, actually, Connell, even this morning, it looked like today was the bottom. I think tonight's the bottom if there was one. I mean, you look at some of the other stocks akin to Nvidia, like Oracle, you look at Microsoft, those guys have been smashed. Meta, they're all up after market, just like Nvidia is. So you see what this does for the lift. As far as other names, Connell, I don't go back into some of these names that are the smaller guys, like the CoreWeaves of the world, necessarily Palantir. I don't jump back in there, but I certainly jump back at some of those big boys that are in that space as well as other spaces, because I think it justifies both what they're doing in their traditional businesses, the Microsoft and so forth, as well as what they're doing in AI.
What about the big picture stuff, Corey? It was interesting. We played a clip from Elon last hour where he was saying something to the effect of AI is just going to get rid of all poverty, so we won't have poverty. And money, he said, and I believe this was a quote, is going to be irrelevant. It's not going to matter because the robots are going to be, you know, so people.
So then you're out of luck.
Right. I don't know. So people like roll their eyes. Whereas Jensen Huang, you know, it's a more realistic conversation. It seems to me jobs are going to be changing. That's this type of stuff we talk about all the time. But future, you know, Corey, is bumpy. It's bright. What are you saying?
Yeah, the investment stuff aside, right? The changes we're going to see in our lives related to AI and the way that AI is going to make things easier. You know, I think that our grandchildren will look back at this as in the moments when, I don't know, washing machines or electric lights or communication came into our lives.
How are they going to?
Does that kind
I
of
don't
change?
even know
And is
how
that
they're going to look
pervasive?
back on it, Corey. That's another problem they're going to have. Like when I started in radio, I got a bunch of cassettes because I'm moving from radio when I started, and my kids are like, "What do we do with this?" So I don't know how they're going to watch this interview. Well, it's audio, Scott, but fine.
I still watch
anyway,
that as well still.
Go ahead, Corey. But you're saying that they're going to look back on us and they're going to say what?
Look, it's the ability to have all of the information everywhere all the time in real time is going to change the way we do things, and it's going to change it. And change is difficult, and change is scary, and capitalism is scary. But technology is giving us some really amazing things that we may be able to really have better lives as a result.
Do you make the positive argument as well, Scott, or is it more, you know, is there fear mixed in with it?
I was going to say I'm kind of frightened, excited, and wait and see. I think Corey's right, though. I think it does change a lot of things. I like it. It's like the internet. I mean, back when I was getting told about the internet, believe it or not, people did talk to me in the 90s. They talked about this World Wide Web thing, and nobody knew what it was about. And then 10 years later, everybody's on there, you know, making their stuff online. So I think he's right. I think the question is, how fast does this go? Because people might freak out, and there's still that power issue, guys, on the back end of this, that we still have to power these things and not basically turn off every light in America in doing so.
Right. That's the issue, or one of them. Scott, thank you. Corey as well. The mayor-elect here in New York.